hope you are having a wonderful day. I just wanted to do a quick kind of talk video where I just kind of update you on my life and what's been going on. I have a little baby that needs my attention. So the reason I've been MIA for the past 2 years, it seems, is that I have had 2 more children. This is the most recent. This is Clara Starr. She is 11 weeks old today, actually. She looks just like my husband, although she has crazy beautiful blue eyes. They actually look just like my mom's eyes. But anyway, I just wanted to do a video and tell you guys what's been going on. So I've had 2 babies. I opened up a photography studio. Many of you know that I've been a professional photographer for 8 years. And a couple of years ago, I started transitioning out of weddings to focus solely on contemporary glamour portraiture. I'll put a couple of examples of my work in this video.
Excuse me, Mama?
Yes.
I'm watching Sesame Street about pirates.
Good. Here, come sit with me for a minute. This is Carly Ray. Many of you might recognize her from past videos. She is not a baby anymore, and she is not a toddler anymore. She has grown up so much. They grow up too fast. Anyhow, so I opened up a studio so that I had a place outside my home to work. I had been using my home as a studio for a long time, and then I decided after I got pregnant with her that it was really time to just move the studio out of the home. I didn't like having to set up my living room as my studio and tear it down every time I had a client come over, because there is a difference between having a clean house and having a client clean house. So we both talked about it, and a studio space opened up. It all sort of fell together at the right time. I feel like it was really a God thing. A makeup artist friend of mine named Jill, who I've been friends with for going on 6 years now, she and I had sort of just, I wouldn't say fallen away from each other in the sense that like we had a falling out or anything like that. It was just one of those things where we didn't talk for a while, and before we knew it, 1.5 years had gone by. And so much had changed in her life, and so much had changed in my life. And out of the blue, I saw that she had opened a studio in a place called Palencia in St. Augustine. And I reached out to her and told her I'd love to see it. And we had lunch, and I went over there and I saw it, and I fell in love. And I was like, oh my gosh, I totally wish I could have a studio. I'm so jealous. And then I started getting busier with my business at home. And I guess about a month later found that there was a space opened up, and she was like, you need to jump on this space. So I did, and we opened in November of 2015. And yeah, so I've been working a lot at the studio, and one of the things that I wanted to incorporate into my business is these YouTube videos that I've been doing for several years. Now that I'm doing contemporary glamour portraiture, I feel like this type of thing really goes along with that, because everybody likes getting dressed up and glammed and girled up, and I feel like that this would be a really good way to either tell my clients what to think about in terms of makeup looks, or teach them how they can do their makeup better when they have a night out or when they have a special occasion and they maybe can't afford to hire a professional makeup artist. It is certainly not in any way a way to undercut professional makeup artists, because I definitely think they are worth their weight in gold. So definitely something that I'd like to incorporate in my business now that I have sort of, I guess, I don't want to say slowed down, because I haven't slowed down. If anything, I've gotten busier, but not in the same sense. It's slowing down in that now, instead of traveling all the time for my business, I'm usually in one place for my business. Instead of having to carry billions of different pieces of equipment, I can keep it at the studio without having to transport it back and forth. And then, of course, rather than taking hours upon hours the night before a client comes cleaning my house so that it's client clean, I can just have my studio and, you know, leave my stuff at the studio, and it's already set up. I don't have anything to do with, you know, having to take it down or anything. So I can just leave and come home when I'm done, and it is fabulous. And of course, my house right now, as you can see back here, is not client clean. And so anyways, So that's been going on. That's been a really big thing in my life that's happened because now I have the overhead expense of a studio, and it was really scary at first, and I'm just very, very thankful and grateful for God giving me this opportunity to expand, and it's been amazing. I am 32 years old and I have a storefront, which is amazing. I was 31 when I opened it, but 32 now. So I guess that's probably the biggest thing that's changed. And I felt like after high school, I really didn't have a clear direction where I was going. Even well into my 20s, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. And then I guess it's been 8 years ago now, I started my business. And initially, I was a graphic design and photography business, and I quickly learned I did not like doing design for clients. I still do it from time to time, but the type of design work I was doing back then was not something that I enjoyed. Like doing Flash, like programming Flash and stuff like that was not my thing. Anyhow, so I decided to focus solely on on photography, and I got my start in pet photography. My dog actually ripped out her dew claw on our fence when we lived up north, and when I was on hold waiting for the vet to pick up at PetSmart, it was the Banfield vet, I just got this idea, why don't you ask to talk to the manager and see if you can come do a weekend of pet photos or something. Sorry, my leg is asleep. And so I ended up talking to the manager, and she said yes, and the weekend that we did it went fabulous. And then she decided to ask me to do her wedding, and I was very honest with her and told her, look, I've not done weddings before, so it's a gamble, but this is how much you could pay me to do it, and I'll do it. And so, so I wound up shooting her wedding almost a year later, and during that time I looked for opportunities to shoot for other photographers as a second photographer at weddings to get some experience under my belt and really develop my personal style as a photographer. And then I guess it was about after her wedding that I decided to get out of doing pet photography and focus on weddings and portraits. And then when I moved back to Jacksonville, which was 2 years into my business, about 2.5 years, I decided to focus solely on weddings. And I did love doing weddings for a time, but I don't feel like my heart was in it the way it should have been. And once I came across Contemporary Glamour, it sort of tied together all of these things that I loved to do and didn't know how to incorporate. So fashion photography, but working with everyday women, everyday people, doing fine art portraits, and just creating, I guess, outside of a wedding portrait, because wedding portraits can only be so many things. Whereas like a ballet dancer, I can make look like a Baroque style painting, and it's just timeless and beautiful, and you can't necessarily do that with wedding photos because the clients don't necessarily want that. But anyhow, so I decided to start transitioning over, and I phased out weddings. I just shot my last wedding couple maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and this has been, over 2 years in the process, so now I can focus solely on my studio work, which has been phenomenal. And then, of course, now being able to take doing makeup and somehow make that a part of my business is awesome. I also get to sew because I get to make custom couture gowns and stuff like that my clients get to wear, so I get to incorporate that. I also get to be creative with sets, like creating backgrounds and things like that, hand painting backgrounds. Oh, that is so fun. It's hard, but it's fun. And so it's really just kind of taken this form that I never thought that it would, and I feel so fulfilled doing this job in a way that I never did with weddings and pet portraits and things. And I guess I didn't realize it until after I had started getting into this, how much I wasn't in it with weddings and such. So, and I absolutely love my wedding clients. I love the portraits and pictures that I've created for them. I wouldn't change those experiences for the world. It's just not where my heart is anymore. It's not where I feel like I've been called, and it doesn't fulfill me in a way that I knew I needed fulfilling until I got into it, if that made sense. I love being able to create portraits for families that will last forever. Like, I don't sell digital files like a lot of clients want, because I feel like if you're going to spend the money that I cost on portraits, you need to look at that picture almost daily. You should see whoever it is that's been photographed and feel joy and love for that person that you see, whether it's a generational photo or a mother-daughter portrait, portraits of your kids, portraits of yourself. Let's say you lost a bunch of weight and you came to me and you had a wonderful experience and you have gorgeous photos, and you get to look at those photos every day and be reminded of your journey to where you've come from, or to where you are now, but be reminded of that journey of where you came from. Or maybe a mother-daughter shoot where, you know, it's an older mother with an adult daughter, and it symbolizes how their relationship has evolved over time to be one of a wonderful mother-daughter relationship where they're now best friends. Or, you know, your kids with a young mother who, you know, has never experienced motherhood before and is really coming into her own and really nurturing and loving that person that they've created with their spouse. Or a dancer who is aspiring to be in, you know, ballets at the Joffrey in Chicago or anything like that. You know, I get to create these portraits for them that are just so beautiful and timeless, and I want them to look at those and see them every day. And the only way that they're going to do that is if they have prints of them. They're not going to have those if they're just on a USB drive somewhere on their computer that gets lost in the digital dark ages. So it's really important to me that my clients have prints, and so that's why I don't shoot and burn images to a disk anymore. I also don't want to just hand it over through Dropbox, because then they don't get something to look at. They don't have something tangible. Apparently I ran out of space on my SD card, but anyhow, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know what's been going on in my life. And you know, I by the way have 3 girls. One of them is waking up from her nap right now, which I'll go get in just a minute. But I just wanted to let you know what's been going on. I hope to be more consistent with videos now. I'm actually planning on creating a filming space in my studio, so hopefully that will be coming along in the next few months. And yeah, so I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week and into your weekend. And I love you very much, and I will see you again soon in another video. Bye! Mwah!